I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? Let's get into Monday Night Raw from June the 1st, 2026. This show was not good. Jacob Fatu has officially fallen in line, and he is now made to be fourth wheel to Roman Reigns. And I don't like it, because when Jacob Fatu first came into the company, he was full of piss and vinegar. He had a shitty feud with Solo for a while. Then, he was feuding with Drew McIntyre and all that. They were going to do something with Cody, Drew, and Jacob, but that never transpired into anything at all. So there's that. And then now, Jacob, he turned heel, went after Roman, lost twice, and now he has fallen in line like Jimmy and Jay. So, there is that. But this show just was not good. We also got the King and Queen of the Ring. We've got those matches that occurred on this show, and that was really it. This show was a bore. What do you expect? Triple H has no idea what he's doing at all. So, there is that. But all right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So we kick the show off with Roman and the Usos, the Bloodline. So Jay said that it was Jacob Fatu's first day and he's late. Jay called out Jacob Fatu. So Jacob Fatu showed up. He said he knew the consequences of winning the match or losing the match. He said he lost, and in front of his children, he's a man of his word. Last night he lost to his tribal chief, but I didn't lose to your punk ass Jay. So Jay began to smirk a little bit. Jacob Fatu said he'd keep it 100, and he then got on to one knee, and he said to Roman that he acknowledged him, and Roman helped Jacob to his feet, and he told Jacob that he won't understand it now, but he loves him. And then they end up doing the We the Ones. So Roman, Jay, and Jimmy, they did it. And then Jacob Fatu, he kind of hesitated, but then he ended up doing it. So he ended up falling in line, and that was it. I don't like this because Jacob now has been domesticated. Now, this could all be a ruse in the end. Maybe this could lead to Rock and Roman for next year at some point. Because I do expect for Rock to possibly get involved at some point. Especially since WrestleMania 43 is going to be in Saudi next year. The Rock has to show up at some point in this thing. Maybe. If not, maybe Zilla Fatu is inserted at some point. But we all know that at some point, Jacob is going to be a fucking hothead, and he's going to turn on Roman, Jimmy, and Jay. He's going to turn on the Bloodline. But it seems right now on the horizon, it's going to be Roman's Bloodline going up against the MFTs. And just thinking about that makes my head hurt and makes me want to ram my head into a cement wall until I lose consciousness. Because that shit fucking sucks. It does. But again, I didn't like this segment. I just didn't. It is what it is. There's nothing that can be done about it. This is what Roman wants to do. Roman, truthfully, has basically been checked out for the past 2.5 years since he couldn't wrestle The Rock back at WrestleMania 40. So he's been checked out ever since. And this is what we're getting. So there's that. And I know people think that like CM Punk, whenever he returns, it's gonna make the show better. It's not. This all falls on booking, basically. It all falls on booking. I know that Roman and Paul Heyman, they're behind this and all that stuff. But part of this stuff is Triple H. But I'd say about 95%. No, I'd say about 98% of this is Roman and Paul Heyman, and like the small 2% is Triple H. So there's that. Moving on, this leads us into the first match of the night, which was the Fatal 4-Way for the King of the Ring. Oba Femi defeated Carmelo Hayes, Penta, and Solo Sikoa to advance. So there's that. This is fine. The match was all right. If you've seen one Fatal 4-Way, you've seen them all. It's just spots, and that's all this match really was. Oba went apeshit and destroyed most of these guys in here. So none of these guys stood a chance. Oba got on the mic post-match and said Brock Lesnar asked him if he could take an ass whooping. Oba said after receiving a beatdown and taking 7 F5s, he's standing and winning. He said that he took Brock's best shot and he's still here. Oba said he'll be King of the Ring. And don't you forget, it's 1-1, and he's going to see Brock down the line. So this is fine. I do like this. I do not expect for Oba to win King of the Ring. I got a feeling it's probably going to come down to Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins in the final. And I think from there, that's how we get Rollins and Roman going into SummerSlam. Because whoever wins King and Queen of the Ring, basically it guarantees them a title shot at SummerSlam. So that's where that's going to go. And I don't see Oba winning King of the Ring at all. So Brock will show up at some point, cost Oba his match at some point, and then that sets up for Brock Oba 3 at SummerSlam. Again, it's fine. I'm not a fan of a 50-50 booking, but, what are we going to do, really? There's nothing that can be done about it. So there's that at this point in time. Moving on from that, this leads us into Soruka. She came out next. She got a pretty good reaction. Soruka said that it's a dream come true. Most of the fans believed in her too. She thanked the fans. Soruka said that Becky Lynch was against the match and she thought she wasn't ready. But she came out there and gave her a chance to test herself. And she proved her wrong. Soruka said that it's not just her saying it, everyone's saying it. Soruka says the IC title deserves a fighting champion, and that's exactly what she's going to be doing. She said, if you underestimate her like Becky did, we all know how that will end. Your soul will be mine, and then that was it. Okay, this is fine, short and sweet to the point. I expect for Soruka to be a transitional champion. The IC title will be back around the waist of Becky Lynch come SummerSlam. So there's that. So I could see Soruka beating Lyra, who was on this show. So I could see that happening, obviously. That's going to happen in Saudi and not a champion. So that's going to happen. She'll probably end up beating Maxine Dupree and end up beating Ivy Nile and probably maybe even Natalya, a.k.a. Natty. So there's that. And then she'll end up losing to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. It's just inevitable, really. Because, again, look at the women before her. AJ Lee dropped it to Becky Lynch. Maxine Dupree, same thing. Lyra Valkyria, same thing. So they all end up driving it back to Becky. They hold it for a couple months, and then, poof, it's gone. It's back to Becky. So, whatever. It's fine, though. Moving on from that, this leads us into Roman Reigns and the Usos. They're backstage. Roman Reigns told Jay that he's the only one who understands tough love. Roman told Jay to stay on Jacob's ass. Pause. Roman told Jay that he had the world title before, but he's never had the other one. He said he told him to go win King of the Ring. Roman said there's two ends of the table, and then Jay left. And then Roman told Jimmy to stay with him because Jay has to do this on his own. Okay, that's fine. Makes sense. We all know that there's two ends of the table. We all known that shit for a while, all right? So this is fine, I guess, whatever. But we all know we all know Jay Uso's not winning the WWE Championship. We all know that shit, right? Like, come on now. Hell no. Moving on, this leads us into Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. They defeated Ethan Page and Rusev, so that's fine. Their match was pretty okay. All right, good stuff there. Moving on from that, this leads us into Adam Pearce. He was backstage. He told Penta that he's going to make the match happen with Rey Mysterio, and Penta thanked him. LA Knight showed up and asked what's on his mind. He complained that Adam Pearce made house calls to Roman's locker room, but he never does that with him. LA Knight told Adam Pearce that they should make him, a.k.a. Pearce, an honorary Uce. Adam Pearce says it's not LA Knight's business, and he's visiting Roman because he's a champion. LA Knight didn't like it and said that he can put him out of retirement just to put you back in. He said he thinks Adam Pearce wants Roman Reigns to be world champion. LA Knight told Pearce to make him believe that that's not true. Adam Pearce said that Jacob Fatu is a liability and LA Knight can believe whatever he wants. He said he's not playing favorites. LA Knight then raised Adam Pearce's arm like a bloodline salute, and then that was it. Okay, that's fine. So this does make sense. I do think that we'll end up getting LA Knight and Roman at some point. I thought that was going to be the match at Saudi, but it's not. I doubt if Roman will be on that show anyway. I mean, they have no opponents lined up for him anyway in 3 weeks, so there's no point even him wrestling on that show. He'll be on that show for sure, probably to do an angle. So I could see that happening like that, but that's about it. So, but LA Knight, he's fine. I mean, clearly. But I wish they would do more with LA Knight, but it is what it is. This leads us into Io Sky. She advanced in the Queen of the Ring. She defeated Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Lash Legend. The match was pretty okay. Julia taking the pin was expected. I thought that Roxanne was going to take the pin, but she didn't. So it is what it is. There's that. I do think that Io will probably go to the finals. Who will she stand across? I have no fucking idea who that's going to be. But this match was okay. Moving on from that. So, Maxine Dupree told Adam Pearce that she's shocked when she saw the Queen of the Ring tournament brackets, and she wasn't included. Adam Pearce said that the tournament was stacked, and he has to make tough decisions. Maxine Dupree told Adam Pearce that he overlooked her, and then he said if anything comes up and is opened up, she's at the top of his list. She thanked him, and then she's kind of irked. So then Otis told her that they have her back. And then Otis said that Austin Theory is bad news, and he and Akira Tozawa have noticed that she's been hanging out with him as of late. And she said she knows what she's doing, and she tells them to trust her. Okay, this is fine. So they're doing the heel turn for Maxine Dupree, which is fine. This makes sense. Her aligning with the vision is fine. They've been teasing this for about close to a month now, basically, which is good. Very good. Again, Logan Paul is going to be out for about probably 6 months to a year, so we probably won't see Logan Paul until probably next year sometime. Maybe. Because we only have 6 months left of the year anyway, so, there's that. Moving on from that, this leads us into Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. They're talking about the Queen of the Ring tournament. They were interviewed by by Kathy Kelly, I'm sorry. Bayley said that she's never been in Queen of the Ring. Lyra said, Lyra bounced out to talk to Sol Ruka. She put over Sol Ruka. And Lyra wants to get her rematch that she never got. And she basically challenged Sol Ruka accept. And Bayley told Lyra that we're in the middle of something. And Lyra excitedly grabbed Bayley and asked her if she heard that she's getting a shot at the IC title. And so Bayley was kind of pissed off about it, I guess. Which is fine. This makes sense. Is Lyra going to win against Sol Ruka? No, she's not. She's not. So there is that. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Judgment Day bullshit. So Roxanne Perez, she's pissed off that she lost the match. Her match to qualify for Queen of the Ring to advance. So Liv Morgan walked in. She didn't read the room. Liv was excited about her chance in the tournament. So Roxanne Perez said that she could have used them earlier. Liv Morgan tried to recover by being wrapped up in herself and said one of them will win. And then she said that she's proud of Roxanne Perez. Okay, this is fine. But again, why is Liv Morgan in the Queen of the Ring tournament? She doesn't need to be in there, if we're being honest. And I don't know, man. It sucks that Liv has no opponents. Obviously, they're going to build between her and Roxanne. They're going to really break up the Judgment Day. They should. Finn Balor, he is going to be going to SmackDown at some point. So that's cool. That's interesting. So at least he is officially out of the group. And he'll more than likely be on the babyface side of things. So maybe if Cody does lose to Gunther at Night of Champions in Saudi in 4 weeks, then I would love to see Gunther versus Finn Balor. I think that would be fucking tremendous. That'd be great. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into the main event of the evening. Seth Rollins, he defeats Bron Breakker in a really good match. This match was great. Bron Breakker, he busted out a great running barricade elbow drop, took out Rollins. That was great right there. They continued to fight on and on. Breakker kicked out of a couple of pedigrees and all that. So they traded finishers back and forth. Then, basically, the Vision, they showed up. Austin Theory showed up. Montez Ford showed up to make the save. Then Paul Heyman got involved. Him and Rollins, they had some words. Rollins ends up talking crap to Paul Heyman and vice versa. Then Braun tries to spear Rollins, but he accidentally spears Paul Heyman, taking him out of the match. And then Seth Rollins ends up bringing in one of the tag team titles, puts it on his waist. He hits Braun with the title and the stomp for the 1, 2, 3, and then that's how Rollins wins. And then that was it. So this is fine. They are now 1-1. I expect for Seth Rollins to win King of the Ring. I expect for him to beat Bron Breakker in Saudi at Night of Champions, because their rubber match would have to take place at some point. You might as well just go ahead and do it again in Saudi. Do like a stipulation, maybe like a steel cage or a last man standing or an I quit or something of that magnitude or stipulation. I think that would be great. So do something like that. Am I excited for Rollins and Reigns? No, I'm not, because it's basically just Randy Orton John Cena all over again, basically. And we've seen that enough times, but that's what Triple H wants to go back to. So it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about that shit. But we all know that Seth Rollins is basically going to win the King of the Ring. That's basically like a given. He'll definitely be in the finals. So I think it probably comes down between him and Bron Breakker in the final, where Rollins will basically go over Breakker, more than likely. Because Oba Femi, he might be in the finals as well, but at some point Brock's going to show up and cost Oba. So, there's that. But all in all, Monday Night Raw was trash, as per usual. I did not like the Bloodline stuff. I just didn't. Seeing Jacob Fatu having the bow like that and everything else was kind of distasteful. Didn't like it. I just didn't. So there's that. The matches on the show were fine. It is what it is. If you've seen one Fatal 4-Way, you've seen them all. So there's that. But Triple H really didn't even try on this Raw at all. He just threw shit at the wall, and that was it. Like, hey, we're just doing some Bloodline shit, and that's it. I'm like, yeah, okay, but you need other stories than just the Bloodline, right? And the Judgment Day, they're awful and shit. So whatever, it is what it is. But Monday Night Raw for the most part was boring for the most part. But what did you guys think? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.